The Lee Carsley era has started.
What do you mean we? I said, brother, we together, England. And he said, no. Yo, with them. Yo, I thought you were Senegalese. Welcome back to the Playbook. We're back here for the second episode. After the first episode did so well, thank you for the positive reaction on the first video. You know, hopefully it's just the best to come. You know, first episode. But we got my brother back here again, second episode. How you doing, my brother?
I'm very good. I'm excited.
Ready to talk?
Yeah, ready to talk about everything. It's going to be a great episode, hopefully. So
today, obviously, there's no football. There's no Premier League, sorry. So what we're going to focus on this episode is purely international football.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not a big fan of international football because I just feel as though, especially the friendlies and the qualifiers, I think it's a waste of time. I never really pay attention to Nations League?
Yeah, Nations League.
Nations League, not really interested in all that. I watch it sometimes, you know, to see how Saka and all these guys do, but I'm not a big fan of it, Nation Leagues. But we're going to focus on a range of different things. We're not going to focus on Nation League, we're going to focus on international football in terms of World Cups, football. But before we do all that, obviously England played today. They are recording. I didn't get to watch the game. Completely forgot that England were playing today, obviously against Ireland. Obviously you watched the game, so do you want to give us a bit of feedback on how we played? New manager, no Gareth Southgate.
The Lee Carsley era has started. 2026 World Cup, bring it home. Bring it. Because I watched England today, and today was the first time ever I saw expanding football, explosive football. There was, you know, like exciting football. Like, first time ever. If you look at the lineup, you think Kobe Mino, Declan Rice are going to play two sitters.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. He played a 4-3-3. Wow. He had Kobe Mino as a 6 alone with Rice and Grealish in front of him. Rice was playing right centre mid. Like the way Odegaard plays for Arsenal on that right hand side, Rice was playing that position. Yeah. Grealish was having that free run position on the left hand side. Then he had two actual wingers. We've been crying for two wingers.
Yeah.
Every tournament we've been crying for play your wingers.
Yeah.
Play players that play in their positions.
Yeah.
He played God on the left, Saka on the right, and we finally saw pace on the wings. Like he didn't play, you know, Foden or Belling. If they were fit, he would not play him on the left.
Yeah.
That's what killed Gareth Southgate. Because if you look at Spain and the way they played, they had Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, two out and out wingers that can actually cause havoc. Gordon caused havoc, Saka caused havoc, and you know the first goal was amazing, where they played a 5 at the back.
Yeah.
Republic Island, and then we broke them up easy. And the second goal, if you see that second goal, it was one touch football from Kobe Mano to Rice, Rice to Saka, Saka back to Rice, Rice to Grealish. It was literally one touch football, back of the net. The Lee Carsley for me right now.
Yeah,
we'll see how he does the next couple of games, but I'm not getting too excited, but he's actually playing expansive football and he's actually doing something with his England team. He's playing to their strengths. Yeah. And for me, it was a very good game. It was a very interesting game. And England fans, you let me know in the comments. Are you Lee Carsley all the way? Or are you, you know...
It's too early, surely.
There's no one out there right now. People say Eddie Howe's not going to come in. We'll talk about England managers later. But very, very, very good game for the first game. Very positive,
So, obviously, before we go into the whole England managers and talking about, you know, what's next for England. Obviously, I don't know, what's the next tournament? It's the World Cup. Obviously, Nation League, but it's 2026, so in 2 years. So we've got a bit of time left to be worrying about managers now. But before we talk about the managers, what do you think about, there's been made out of too many games. There's been a lot of games played, you know. And I actually agree with them. There is a lot of football now in terms of, you know, normally, I believe is players should, especially these kind of games, like these qualified games, the main stake players shouldn't stay. So this should be an opportunity for fringe players. So for example, my personal opinion, as an Arsenal fan, Saka shouldn't have played today. Madueke should have played. You know, Angel Gomez should have played. I know he's trying to get chemistry between the players. I get it, but do you think there's too many games for players? I think Bernardo Silva came out. De Bruyne came out today. Do you think there is too many games? Do you think there's too much football, too much strain? I think if you play the Club World Cup, I think there's like 80 games this season.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a lot of games this season? Do you think it's too much for the players?
I'm not being opposite just for the sake of it. I think there's not too many games. I think there's a right amount of games for these players. And now squads nowadays, compared to I was watching Talksport and Graham Souness.
Yeah.
He was saying, when I was playing at Liverpool, when we were competing for the Premier League, the league, we were competing for the league, competing for the Champions League, for the FA Cup, they were playing 70 plus games.
Yeah.
And back then, they didn't have 5 substitutions.
Yeah.
They didn't have, 30-man squads.
Yeah.
Chelsea 45-man squad. They didn't have these medical teams nowadays that get the way they get looked after. So I think players who complain there's too many games, if you think you've got fatigue or you're injured, pull out.
Yeah.
Don't play for your country. Don't play for, tell your manager, I can't play this week. I'm tired. I'm injured. So these players, Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, they're happy to receive the financial
the big wages,
advantages
of course.
playing these multiple tournaments.
Yeah.
But they should be speaking to their clubs. Because,
Yeah.
Man City, before they go to that Club World Cup,
Yeah.
a day after, they're travelling to, I think, Australia somewhere to play 2 friendlies.
Yeah. It's all money. It's all about the money.
So that's not to do with that. It's
commercial,
FIFA or UEFA. That's to do with their clubs.
In-house,
So like Tottenham last season, day after the last game of the season,
them and Newcastle,
they went to New Zealand or Australia or something like that to play against each other.
Shocking. It's all about money now.
Go ask your clubs why you're playing these games. Don't ask FIFA. Don't ask UEFA. Ask those lot.
Yeah.
So these players, they get paid too much, and I think they want to play less games and get paid more. You have to choose.
Yeah.
Do you want to get paid less and play less games, or you want to get paid more and play more games? I know what they're gonna choose. So
of course.
yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Injuries. There have been a lot of injuries. Players getting ACLs, hamstrings.
Yeah.
But that's that. That's the game.
I think what kicked it all off was the World Cup Qatar.
Yeah.
When the middle of the season, of course, they're doing that purely down to the heat. Obviously, you can't ever do a Qatar World Cup in the summer. It's impossible. It's like not 50, but 40 degrees, and you can't play in them kind of weather. But once that was in the middle of the season, and then we continued to play games, and it is too much. You see too many injuries now. You see, it's becoming too saturated where there's a game every day. There's a game all the time. Like, you see these players too much. I think in September, mid-September, end of September, I think we've got a game, every 3 days.
Yeah.
I think one of the game weeks, there's a 2-day break, I think, between when we face, Atalanta and Bolton.
Yeah.
There's like a 2-day break. So, I just think it's too much. Too much strain on the players.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think when City face us in the league, they've got Watford in the Carabao Cup. Literally, they've got 1 day off.
Yeah.
And they're facing against us.
That's good for us, though.
Yeah, that's good for us. But they've got a 30-man squad.
Yeah.
Man City could easily have their second team and beat Watford.
Of course.
They shouldn't be complaining at all. So
it's more, for me, I think that the lesser team should be more upset. Of course, they're not in Champions League in Europe, but they haven't got the squads to be playing to Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, even Man City. They've got the squads to play 2 teams.
Yeah.
Like, we can drop a Saka and then play someone else on the wing now. So I just think, I'm with you in a sense of they get paid a lot, so of course they should be playing a lot. But at the same time, I think, it is too much.
You're right about all these new competitions because FIFA are seeing UEFA with the new Champions League format.
Unreal now. They can't catch up,
The only way FIFA make their money is from the World Cup.
Yeah.
And the World Cup's only once every 4 years.
So
they're thinking,
we need to make something,
we need to make more money. That's why the Club World Cup, and the Club World Cup is going to be so pointless. Like, it's going to be like Chelsea in it, but Chelsea, because they won the Champions League a couple of years ago, they're in it, part of the elite clubs, but now they're mid-table team. Yeah. So I don't understand all these new tournaments.
That makes sense. But going back to England, England manager obviously seems like you want Lee Carsley. Obviously the same thing you have to remember the same thing happened with Southgate. Obviously he got the job on the interim basis. Yeah. He did well, and then everyone's kind of like, let's get him in. We got him in, and then once we got him in, it was all right. The 2018 World Cup, of course, it was greater than expected. Gareth Southgate did a fantastic job, of course, but I don't think he was ever going to be that manager to take us the edge. He was so close twice.
Yeah.
A penalty shootout and a goal in the 85th minute stopped us from winning 2 trophies. But do you think we'll make the same mistake? I won't call it a mistake, but the same impulsive decision to hire Lee Carsley, or would we actually take a approach and be like, okay, let's wait, let's look around? Because I know, before even going on Twitter, I know there's probably a crazy positive reaction with the result.
Yeah.
But do you think it's the right decision to appoint Lee Carsley, or wait? And you never know, Pep Guardiola, end of the year, you never know, he might be there. Thomas Tuchel, you never know.
Yeah.
Klopp even, you could get him out of retirement.
Yeah. Like I always see it as this: if you're good enough to manage the England team, and like I'm not comparing him to the Spanish manager, but Fuentes, if that's his name correctly.
De La
Fuente. He came from the under-21s from
Yeah,
Spain, and now he's won the Euros with them.
Yeah.
And I think Lee Carsley, for me, Gareth Southgate was never playing this. I know it's one game, but if you watch the game back, how expansive this England team was, you thought, finally, he's playing to the players' strengths.
Yeah.
Declan Rice is not a 6.
So who was
in
the
my
three in
eyes.
midfield? It was
He
Declan
had
Rice,
Kobe Manu as a lone 6.
Okay.
And he had Rice literally on the right-hand side,
Yeah.
pushing forward, and Grealish on the left-hand side, pushing
Wow.
forward. And he had Saka on the right wing,
And
Gordon on the left wing. And it was so
And
expansive.
Harry Kane up front.
Harry Kane up front.
Wow.
And he had Trent. Trent had one of the best games.
Yeah.
He went into midfield. The first goal that the England scored,
Yeah.
Trent got the ball from midfield.
Yeah.
Did the Steven Gerrard pass.
Yeah.
Gordon made the run inside.
Yeah.
Gordon had a one-on-one. Obviously, missed the one-on-one. Goalkeeper saved it.
Yeah.
And then Declan Rice got the rebound after.
Yeah.
But playing Trent, putting him in midfield,
Yeah.
making
Simple
ping them
decision,
balls.
yeah,
Where you
yeah.
see Gordon running in behind, Saka
Yeah.
running in behind, and you think, England know what they're doing. Lee
Yeah.
Carsley knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I think he's playing Colwell left back, where he's going into centre back, and you have that back three with with
Wow,
Gahey,
he's doing proper tactics.
Maguire, and Levi Colwell, and you're thinking, wow, he knows
Yeah.
what he's doing,
Yeah.
and he's played more entertaining football in one game
Than
than Gareth Southgate's done in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And we'll see how he does against Finland on Tuesday.
Yeah.
They've got Finland at home,
Yeah.
and I think if he keeps on playing this style of football, I think England fans right now don't care about results.
Yeah.
They care about performances and style of football. And I think if he keeps on doing the same thing,
Yeah.
I'm Lee Carsley all the way.
Wow. So yeah, that's positive reaction for Lee Carsley. But for me, I'd wait.
Yeah.
I'd wait until the next summer, so summer 2025, to decide. I won't just off the back of these 2 games then give him the contract. It's impulsive. I think we should wait.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's think it thoroughly. Let's see who's on the market. Obviously, Lee Carsley is a top candidate, and he's done very well with the under-21s. Obviously, he won the World Cup or the Euros with them with under-21s. So he is a good candidate. I knew he was always going to come in and do a decent job, because with the amount of players, you have to do well. Look at the quality you've got.
Yeah.
You've got unbelievable players, star players for the majority of their teams. Saka's, you got Trent that couldn't even get into the England squad before this. So
One thing I want to see is when all the best players are available. If
what
he
does,
tries to put in all the best players in the same team, if he doesn't do that, if he benches, he benches Foden and plays Jude Bellingham as a number 10, and he swaps them over. He doesn't try to shove everyone in the lineup. If he does that, then I think, okay,
he's not scared of egos and star profiles.
If he's like
and
one of those guys that, okay, I know my best lineup. You guys can come off the bench, but imagine looking opposition team. You look off the bench, you see Bellingham on the bench, you see Foden on the bench, you see Cole Palmer on the bench. You're thinking, if these players don't do their job for 60 minutes, 70 minutes, they're coming on and they're gonna make a difference. Instead of having all the best players, just and afterwards
trying to make it work. I felt like we're forcing it.
So we'll see if he does that. If he, manages to manage the guys with the big attitude, not big attitude, but big personalities, then we'll see.
I think what international football is system over players.
Yeah.
So have a system, and then put the right players in, the right profile for the positions. Don't put, like Southgate was putting Foden in, and then Foden was coming inside, and then Bellingham was doing, and then Trippier was coming, and then it was just too awkward. It felt like he was just trying to force it. That's probably why it didn't work. He did get to a final with it. But maybe he would have won it.
That was the easiest route to the final, bro.
And we made hard work of it.
Man.
We made hard work of it.
We should have gone out early.
Without star players, without that Saka goal against Switzerland, without Jude Bellingham against Slovenia, I don't know which one it is. It would have been the worst exit than Iceland back in 2016 if we didn't get them players to save us. But moving on from England and obviously international football, I want to talk about, for you personally, your favourite ever international tournament, whether it's a World Cup, a Euros. It doesn't even have to be like the most entertaining in terms of globally. I think for you personally, what sticks out in your mind for like international tournaments?
That is a tough one.
Yeah.
I would say it'd have to be my first memory, 2010 World Cup.
Yeah.
South Africa.
Yeah.
I think that was my first ever World Cup.
Yeah.
That I can remember to memory, and it was one of those World Cups where you just saw like the amount of different decisions. The Germany-England game, the England scored the goal where it wasn't a goal. The Uruguay against Ghana when Suarez handballed it, and he got red card and Uruguay went through. It was just so much drama, so many things happening, where that was one of the best tournaments. And I think you saw Spain, the way they played, the way they dominated. You thought this is a new era of football as well. And yeah, I think that's my first memory. And I think that World Cup for me triggered my love into football more, especially international football as well. And I wasn't a massive international fan back before as well. So after that, I just fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the way Spain played, even the way like Ghana, the way they nearly got through.
It was a good story.
Yeah, and they had an amazing story. South Africa as well, that goal that he scored, I forgot his name.
For South Africa, the first ever goal.
That first ever goal, left foot, top corner.
Shalaba. I don't know how to pronounce his name, bro.
Even like the horns. Every
game,
was
it Vuvuzela?
So many different
things.
Like literally, just so many things that were happening in that tournament.
Yeah,
that made me fall in love with it.
It's a proper memory. Like it's a real memory. It sticks in everyone's mind.
So much drama that happened in that tournament.
I'll never forget Luis Suarez, the handball like that.
Yeah. He was a number one enemy.
Scummy. Yeah.
And the way he celebrated on the touchline.
No, the fact they missed that penalty is shocking.
Yeah.
But for me,
what's yours?
Obviously that's your time. I agree that one, 2010. Obviously, I was a Dutch fan back then. You know, I enjoyed Dutch then. That was the year that Van Persie did that header, didn't he?
Oh.
No.
That was 2014.
That was 2014. See, I'm tweaking.
Yeah.
2010 was my first, I think, proper World Cup that I remember.
Yeah.
But for my favourite World Cup and international tournament out of all of them is probably the most recent World Cup, 2022 in Qatar.
Amazing.
In terms of just every game was entertaining. Like, from even like if you can remember Saudi versus Argentina when they beat them.
Yeah.
You know, even that was like, there was so many different stories. There was so many different like things that happened in the Euro Cup that basically storylines, everything that happened in there. Everything that happened in terms of the Saudi game. Yeah. Obviously, what happened with that. Messi losing. They declared a national holiday, Saudi Arabia. Because of that. Yeah, they declared. Just for that game, when they won, they declared a national holiday. Just nostalgia. The fact that Messi won as well was amazing. And yeah, for me, that's my favourite international tournament. So yeah, to carry on that is, I want to talk about a five-a-side. So let's build five-a-side for all international tournaments. With all international tournaments you remember in terms of the 2010 World Cup, 2014, the Euros. So you name your top 5 international teams for you.
This is not the best players to ever play international football. This is my memory and the players that I've watched from 2010 World Cup all the way to the 2024. No,
that 24 was the Euros. Yeah, 2022 World Cup. Yeah, it's all of the tournaments, international tournaments you've seen.
Yeah, all the international tournaments. So I'd have to put in goal. I'm gonna put in the GOAT Casillas. Saw him won the World Cup in 2010. He won the Euros in 2012. Put Casillas in goal. I'm gonna have one defender.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch up a little bit. I'm gonna put in the GOAT himself. I'm gonna stick with Puyol. I'm gonna stick with Puyol in defense. He just the captain, leader. He had everything about him. I'm going to have 3 midfielders. I'm going to have Mesut Ozil.
Yeah.
One of my favourite players of all time. N'Golo Kante. The way he changed. That position that, like, no one else for me represents Kante nowadays.
Yeah.
And that 2018 World Cup, his performance, he's basically 3 players in one. And I'm also going to put in third midfielder. I'm going to put in Andres Iniesta. And I think the way he just pressed resistance.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, but his brain ahead of so many players. And lone striker, I'm going to put in David Villa. I think David Villa, I fell in love with him in that 2010 World Cup. Just the way he performed, one of my favourite players of all time. That's my lineup.
Solid lineup. Solid lineup. But personally, I think my team will beat that.
Ooh.
I got a pretty strong team. But like you said, this is not best players. This is my favourite players.
Yeah.
So starting off in goal, when I think about World Cup goalkeepers, I think about Neuer.
Oh, yeah.
I just think about everything that he's done. World Cup winner, you know. He's a GOAT. And it's the fact that he's still playing to like the top level. He hasn't taken that Saudi offer. Obviously, I know he got offered Saudi. He hasn't taken that. He's thinking, I've still got years in me.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably play for another couple of years as well.
Yeah.
Top level, top keeper. You saw him at the Emirates last year. Unreal.
Still got it.
Centre back is the recently retired GOAT centre back, Pepe.
Wow.
Yeah, just the longevity of him.
Yeah, go.
Just he's just solid. Every year you expect him to fall down. Even to be fair, that's another player that we've seen come to Arsenal, come to the Emirates this season, last season with Porto. Amazing performance. I think he's just 41 now.
41, yeah.
41, and he's performing
Crazy.
to the highest of levels.
Yeah.
He only just recently retired, which is quite upsetting. Obviously, he's not going to make it to the World Cup with a lot of these players, but I think personally he will hold my back line. He wouldn't even have to worry about anyone else defending. He can hold it down, left back, right back. He'll do the job. To my two midfielders, I'll start with the first one. This player probably gave me the most, not excitement, but most nostalgia when I watched him.
Yeah.
Is Wesley Sneijder.
Oh.
Yeah, I just think midfielders, World Cup, Holland, you know that orange top with his number in the middle. There's something about him that, you know, I know people, there's mixed opinions with him, with the Sneijder as a player. Do people rate him highly or but for me, he's a not GOAT midfielder, but he's defo in the conversation below the GOAT.
Yeah,
so he's in that conversation, just one down. So I just think, he's top midfielder. But partnering him is my personal favourite international footballer, Paul Pogba. I just think with France, unreal, you know. He could never translate that to Man United. Could never translate it, but
should never gone there.
Yeah, he should have. For me, it ruined his career. But in terms of goal and in terms of just performances on the big stage and that World Cup they won and just how pivotal he was, and there was that video of him in the change room giving the speech, and I just felt like he was, that era of Pogba was my favourite era. So when he signed for United, I feared him. I did fear because I thought, wow, they've got a player on him, but I'm glad he never was a success there, because if he was, it would have been a different story. And then for striker, it was between two players. I know you said David Villa, but my striker, I don't know why he just, with the light blue top, same colour as my hat, it just, Diogo Forlan. I don't know what it is, but every time I remember international football, I just remember Forlan. I just remember that Uruguayan team. I just remember him. Yeah. And for some reason, he was low-key underrated. People don't rate him as highly as they should. He's a top player, top international. I don't know if he was ever top goal scorer in any competition. I don't know. I haven't done my research. But I just feel as though in terms of World Cups and stuff, just international football, I just felt like he was a top player. And, you know, he's highly underappreciated. He's highly, you know, people don't speak about him enough. No. So that 5, personally, I think beats your 5.
Well, we'll see, guys. You guys let us know in the comments.
Let us know.
Which is your favourite 5? Okay, because for me, my 5, unreal. Like, I think all of them won the World Cup, all the Euros as well. So yeah.
Just to end it, just to end this whole kind of segment on international football, the funny moment that I've said to you before in terms of international football. For me, obviously, like you said, you support England. Would you say you support England?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You follow them? Are you quite passionate about them?
Yeah, love England.
For me as well. Obviously, I'm split. Obviously, I'm not split. I'm not split.
Let's hear this.
No. Let me just hear me out, because there's a funny story at the end of this.
Right.
For me personally, I was born in Holland.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, I should have some allegiances to Holland and the Dutch national team, which I did back in the day. And then obviously, since 2018, England has been my team. Since Gareth Southgate's walked in the door, I walked in the door as well. It's like a new signing.
Okay,
so before that, 2016 and that, I wouldn't say I was a massive England fan. I was a free agent. So
what? So you wasn't? Were you a Holland fan?
I was just an international fan. I didn't support. I wasn't too interested in international football before 2018.
So like 2014.
No.
2014.
I think 2010, 2014. I think 2014 was my last World Cup as a Holland fan. Okay. I left that year.
Yeah. Okay,
I left that year. I said, you know what, new beginnings, and I need to find a new team. So when I went to England, I became very passionate about them in 2018 and in the 2021.
So you was cheering for England against Holland in the Euros?
Absolutely. This recent Euros?
Yeah.
Oh my God, nearly in tears.
So Watkins got the winner.
Brother, nearly tears, brother. Borderline tears. But let me tell you a funny story. Let me tell you a funny story to end it.
Yeah.
When England were in the World Cup in 2022, this is in Qatar, my favourite area international tournament. The funny story is, obviously, I was die hard England. Yeah. So, obviously, I'd go into my work, and there's a guy there that one of my friends, he was 54. Yeah. But he was a friend of mine, I'd go into him every day, and, once we're there at work, we'd speak about football. We'd speak about the results, we'd speak about this team, that team, So, England played that evening against, it was the last 16 game against Senegal. Yeah. So we've played them. We've battered them. I think 3-0. Saka scored. Foden scored. You know, we battered them. Yeah. It wasn't even. I'm sure it was Senegal. Yeah. We battered them. They didn't get close to us. So once that game was played, the next day I went into work and I went up to my mate, the 54-year-old. I said to him, I said, "Hey, we did them last night, didn't we? Yeah, we got the result, didn't we? We gave him something. We battered him."
Yeah.
And then he looked at me, a bit confused, like, "What do you mean we?" I said, "We did them last night." Like, I went in every single against Wales, against USA, every team we went into, I spoke to him. I said, "We did them. We got the result last night." So I went into him, normal routine. We beat him last night. Yeah. And he looks at me so confused and puzzled. I said, "Brother, did I say something wrong?" And then he said, "What do you mean we?" I said, "Brother, we together, England." And he said, no. Yo, with them. Yo, I thought you were Senegalese. I said, "Brother, what?" I said, "So the first African team you see, you think I'm with them?"
Yeah.
I said, "Brother, be serious, bro." From then, we didn't speak about no result after that. The minute we went out to France, our relationship was ended. We finished, bro, because the fact that you thought I fought Senegal just because it's an African team, he looked like he was disgraced. He was like, "We." And I thought, yeah, he's lost it. But yeah, that's the thing. That's a big thing with England fans, but we don't need to go into too much detail with that. But I hope you guys enjoyed that segment of international football. So now we're going to speak about Saudi football and the SPL and everything about them. And so we're going to get your opinion on Saudi, the SPL, the wages, the transfers, players going over there. So what's your generic opinion on Saudi football?
I thought the Saudi Pro League was like a gimmick. I thought they're going to spend as much money as possible, get as many players as possible. I think it was last transfer window before. Yeah. And I thought, okay, this is going to die down a little bit more. And what's happened is that a lot of other leagues, like the French league, who've got no money now, they've got literally no broadcasters. They've got no. They're not showing in UK. They're not showing in a lot of countries. So they don't have any money. La Liga is not the same as what it was before. Bundesliga is not as entertaining as what it was before. Yeah. And I think now, the Premier League, obviously the best league in the world. That's like, I think it will forever be the best league in the world. And I think the Saudi Pro League are watching these other leagues and thinking, if we can get in as many top players as possible, we can get as many eyes as possible, because they don't need broadcasters. They don't need money coming in because they've got limited funds. And I think the players that they're getting in, especially in their primes, it's like, I'm thinking players will be going there at 29, 30. You're getting players up between 22 to 25, 26. And you're thinking, like, what are they doing? And it's like, they're not stopping. They're not slowing down. And because they're probably going to get the 2032 World Cup, they're going to get in as many players as possible. And having Ronaldo in the team, and having someone like Ronaldo coming in, and I think having him being the face of Saudi Pro League, I think they're not going to stop. And I think they're going to cause some damage. They're going to cause an earthquake. And what's your opinions on it?
I love it. I love everything about SPL. I love the transfers. I love what they're doing. I love that it's a new kind of market for players, for teams, for players to go to. Obviously, the wages are incredible. I think, it's generational wealth. You don't have to work for the rest of your life. Players are worried about what they do after football. Some go to punditry, some go into, but some actually end up being broke. So it is it looks after the players. You are right in terms of there are players go there when they are aging and when they get older and stuff. But the problem is, I think now what they're looking to do is, especially this summer, is bring in players that are more in their peak. So they're changing the kind of mindset now. So I love it. I love everything about it. I know the English media is not a fan of it, but I think there's a bit of hypocrisy going on there, because the English teams buy the best players from everywhere, from Brazil and from all these places, and then give them crazy wages, give their family homes, and then it's kind of hypocrisy. But I love it. I just think I like it from the team standpoint, and I like it from the player standpoint in terms of what it does financially for them. And I think players do move there purely based because of finances. It's not they're not going there because of the competitive of the league. We're not going to lie about that. But I think over a period of time, I think it will continue to become more competitive. I think players will continue going there. I think Ronaldo was the centerpiece. I think he was the best thing that could happen to Saudi football, because imagine they got Messi as well to Al Hilal. So the fact they got Ronaldo is like, it made everyone think, okay, if Ronaldo's there, then something's good going. There's something good going on over there. So I like it. I like the whole movement. I like everything about it. Like we spoke about the transfers, the wages. It is generational wealth, but I'm for it.
Yeah, 100%. Because I'm looking like how many people. Let me know in the comments, guys. What other leagues do you guys watch? Like for me, it's so hard to access the French league. La Liga now, especially the way Barcelona are maneuvering, it's like it's only Real Madrid now for me in La Liga. Bundesliga, let's not talk about that. I think Bayern Munich will win it again this year. Bayer Leverkusen did really well last season, but can they do it back-to-back seasons? And I think they haven't really like reinvested in the team as well. And they've got Champions League football coming up as well. And it's like, for me, it's the Premier League, the Champions League, and we'll see how the Saudi Pro League do because, yeah, I think they're trying to get eyes to go watch there, and players like Ivan Toney going there now and earning 400 grand a week, where I think when more and more players start getting used to playing the Saudi League, and I think by then, I think in 5 to 10 years' time, they'll think it's a normal thing to go there and play football because more teams will be recognized, like Al Hilal and all the teams. They're not known now to the general public, and I think when they become known to the general public, I think that's when more teams, you'll get more fans supporting those teams, and then I think they'll just bring money in naturally. Yeah.
So the biggest, I don't know if it's the biggest, but I think the transfer that shocked everyone this summer, and that many people expected, especially I think Arsenal fans didn't expect it in January, was heavily linked with him, was Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney obviously decided to go to Al Ahly over there.
Crazy.
Monster wages. I think he's on something like, I think it's $1 million a week. It might be like $1 million.
It's 400 grand a week.
400 grand a week, which is like, he's never getting that sort of money in the UK. You have to remember that's tax-free as well.
If you 400 grand a week tax-free, here it'll be like £1 million basically.
But exactly. So he's making that ridiculous amount of money, tax-free, not worried. He's sorted out. I think it's like a 4-year deal as well. So his family sorted out. He's living in a nice country. People have bad opinions of it, but it's a very nice country. I've been there. It's very nice.
Very safe.
Very safe place. So but the thing is, the English media had a very bad opinion on it. Said, listen, you're in your peak of career. You could have gone to any club. Any real top 5, 6 club you could have gone to. You know, we needed a striker. Chelsea were interested. Manchester United were interested. Spurs bought Dominic Solanke, could have easily gone for him. You know, he could have gone to a range of clubs this summer, but he decided and he opted to go to Saudi. What's your opinions on him going to Saudi? Was it a good move for him?
I think now players are a lot more smarter than what they were before. I'm not disrespecting players back in the days. But players now, a lot of them make the right moves because they know I've got a short career. Ivan Toney, he knows he's hitting the jackpot.
It's his last big contract.
He's playing championship football.
Non-league football.
Before then, non-league football. He went from playing non-league football to now earning 400 grand a week, where
happy for him.
If you earn that now in Europe, you have to be at the top 5 players or top 10 players easily. And he's not. I wouldn't even say he's like top 50 players in Europe, and he's earning that kind of money. And like you guys can let me know. I know for 100%, 99.9%, anyone that got offered that kind of amount of money to go to Saudi in their prime, they would go. Unless you except for like if you're a Haaland or an Mbappe or a Kevin De Bruyne, when you're gonna earn that money anyway, where earning 400 grand a week, if you go to Saudi earning 800 grand a week, it's still double, but it's not like life-changing money. If you're earning 60 grand a week and you're gonna go to like 200, 250, that's life-changing money. And I think players now are more like they know they can plan their futures a lot more, and they've got good people around them. And I think the media obviously going to say the things, but the media, what they want is they want the best players in their league. They like when no one knows how much Erling Haaland earns, no one knows how much Kevin De Bruyne earns. The amount of bonuses that these guys get, they're not there at Man City because they love Man City. They're there for the finances.
They're getting stupid money.
A lot of players go to Man City, go to Man United. If you watch the overlap, Patrice Evra.
No.
He said when he was at Juventus with Paul Pogba, he said I was with him. He got a call from Florentino Perez, said I want to go there. Perez said the wages that you're demanding, I can't sign you. I can't sign you, Pogba. And Evra was pushing Pogba to go to Real Madrid. And then he said that he came back a few days later and he sees on the news, Pogba didn't even tell him. He saw on the news, Pogba signing for Man United.
Because the wages.
And he was shocked. And he said and he said to Pogba, don't go to United.
Yeah.
Like, wait for Real Madrid to come to you.
Yeah.
And he went to United for the money. So
course.
people don't say, oh, Man United.
Players are
going.
Because it's
Players
England.
go there.
That's the hypocrisy.
Players go to United, Man City, Chelsea for the money.
Of course. Look at Chelsea now.
Yeah, players are going to Saudi for the money. You can't blame them.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's about I think players now are thinking about life after football. You know.
Yeah.
And I respect that, because as much as the entertainment tools now, you have to think about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing that happened with Saudi football this week that was quite interesting. That's very, very hypocritical. It's from the Dutch manager, Ronald Koeman. So Steven Bergwijn signed with, I think he signed with Benzema's team, Ittihad.
Yeah, something like that.
So I think he signed with Ittihad. I don't know what team exactly, but he signed with a Saudi team, we'll say. Obviously, monster wages. You know the gist. Obviously, he's getting crazy wages, crazy transfers. So obviously the international managers called up the players. Yeah. Bergwijn would have got a call up like usual.
Yeah.
The Coleman decided not to call him up, and then said in an interview, in a press conference, he said, the fact that I didn't call him up to the team is purely down to the fact that he plays for Saudi now.
Yeah.
He plays in that club. His football ambition has gone now. He's not. We're not going to invite him no more, basically, because he goes to Saudi, which I found first rude, because you know, you shouldn't be talking about it. Second one is it's hypocritical, because Gini Wijnaldum plays for El Ettifaq and he brought him to the Euros.
Yeah.
I know maybe he wasn't starting him, but at the same time, you can't call one player out for it and then call another player for it. At the end of the day, the player, if he's still at the level to play football, you should trust him. So, what's your opinion on the whole Coleman and
like? For me, if you're good enough, if you're still playing at the highest level, like for me, Ivan Toney, if he's scoring 25, 30 goals in the Saudi league, if he went to the Italian league, for example, for me, the pace, the game, how fast the game is in the Italian league, is not massively drastically different to the Saudi league.
Of course.
And I think Coleman, he's one of those kind of managers where he's got his favourites.
Yeah.
And when he doesn't select his favourites, he'll find a way to not select them.
Yeah.
And Bergwijn probably not one of his favourite players. If that was Frankie de Jong going to Saudi league,
he's
still in the Dutch squad, because he needs someone like Frankie de Jong in the lineup. And managers always do that. I think Didier Deschamps has done that numerous times, where he'll call out a player, and because he knows I'm not going to select him, he's got his favourites, and he'll say, oh, this player is not doing this, is not doing that, and he'll, like, end of the day, it's not like you're not a club manager. A club manager needs to keep everyone on side, because they know this player's got, he's an asset to us. If I keep him on our side, we can be able to sell him. Like the way Maresca outed Sterling. Then Chelsea had no sell-on value.
It's to kill him in the media. Kill him in the media.
Killed him in the media, and then Sterling wasn't able to go to anyone. And that's how Arsenal got him for the bargain of the century. So you can do that international, because you've got many players.
It doesn't matter.
So I think that's classic international manager.
Just throwing players under the bus.
Throwing players under the bus, classic.
So, that's the end of that segment. Thank you guys for watching today. Spoke a bit about Saudi international football. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I think the next video will be talking about Premier League, about the games coming up. And hopefully you enjoyed that. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you very much,
Peace
amigos. Thank you.